지갑은
Tokyo Sonata, first and foremost, is the story of Sasaki-san, a man trapped in a life of monotonous imitation. Our admin officer's world is defined by an uphill battle, a constant pursuit of status and recognition. His wife expects promotions and bonuses that affirm his authority as the patriarch of the household, but Sasaki himself remains at odds with his role. Life constantly overwhelms him, and his quiet urge to sneak into his own house via the back stairs encapsulates his existence. In both life and his escape from it, he must keep climbing. The home, which should be a place of rest, instead functions as a space where he must uphold illusions of honesty, stability, power, even as his presence there becomes defined by a lie. On the other hand, his youngest son Kenji exists in stark contrast to this burdened ascension. Kenji has yet to be worn down by society, and in his brutally genuine outlook on life, he instinctively challenges authority, confronting a teacher who unfairly reprimands him, pursuing forbidden piano lessons, and openly expressing his desires. Kenji does not yet know what it means to submit, and it is perhaps no coincidence that his place within the home is upstairs. His battle is not to climb, but to resist being dragged down into the structures that shape his father. Where Sasaki suffocates under expectations, Kenji asserts himself with a freedom that only youth allows. This initial dynamic establishes the inevitable trajectories of both characters. Sasaki's uphill battle seems destined for collapse, while Kenji reaches a point where his dreams can no longer be contained. And at the heart of their struggles lies the Japanese home, a space that acts as a neutralizing force. It attempts to preserve Sasaki's illusory authority while suppressing Kenji's truth, maintaining an order that is increasingly fragile. Then there's Megumi and Takashi, the other half of the fraying family, set apart not by elevation but by their pull toward or away from the home's core. Megumi, the mother, is centered within the straight, predictable lines of the home, almost at an interior, religious level. The film opens with her keeping the place together, alone while the men head off to their lives. Takashi, however, exists on the periphery. He's barely present in the home and carries no attachment to the family's imposed roles. Instead, he enlists in the American military, drifting further away from both the home and the societal structures binding the rest of the family. As an outsider, Takashi sees the impotence and meaningless order within which the family functions, but his own escape is no less illusory. He's simply replacing one rigid system with another. Yet, it is Takashi who plants the first seed of doubt in Megumi's mind, unsettling her sense of place within the household. When her ideals finally collapse, she too attempts to break free, perhaps even more boldly than Takashi. These four different positionalities define the film's spatial tension, as the director gives us characters who pull in opposite directions, only to be bound by a home that resists their divergence. But the film's topography is not just vertical and horizontal, it also operates in terms of depth. Background elements that seem incidental at first slowly creep into the foreground, shifting from unnoticed details to crucial narrative forces. A noisy car as a background element slowly becomes Megumi's eventual means of escape. An anonymous crowd in a shopping mall eventually turns out to include Megumi herself, passing by unknowingly as Sasaki begins his cleaning job. These moments mirror the film's broader approach. The familiar world becomes strange and uncanny, as if reality itself is destabilizing. This is also where Kurosawa's signature style manifests. The way the camera lingers, often assuming the perspective of an unseen observer lurking in the background, reinforces the sensation of a creeping force infiltrating the family's lives. Sasaki sneaking up the back isn't just sneaky, it's eerie, like he's haunting his own family members. Kurosawa's compositions heighten this unease. His use of wide shots and an eventual shallow depth of field positions characters as small figures within their own homes, swallowed by the architecture that should be protecting them. And if the film operates as an invasion of Japanese familial structures from both within and out, And the arrival of a burglar, played by Koji Yakusho, Kurosawa's go-to vessel for alienated, disillusioned souls, feels almost inevitable. By the time he breaks in, the house has already been spiritually compromised. What should be a violation takes on an eerie familiarity, as if the robber is merely making physical what has already occurred symbolically. His deeply conflicted nature, oscillating between cruelty and awe, mirrors the film's thematic undercurrent. Tokyo Sonata is not just about disintegration, but also about the possibility of revelation. The burglar, in a moment of near religious epiphany, sees something divine in Megumi's spirit.
あんた神様なのか。
This isn't just a culture breaking from inside and out, it's a whisper of something deeper, daring us to look closer. So we move to the next part, following the spiritual vein running through Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Tokyo Sonata.